Hey guys, welcome back to the wood shop, and today I am super excited. As you can see, we've got a DeWalt planer sitting here. We're going to unbox this thing and see how it works, but I thought this day would never come for two reasons. If you want to see why, stick around. Okay, so let's jump right into the two reasons why I never thought this video would happen. For one was the money. You know, this is, for me at least, an expensive planer, $600. And I don't normally just have that kind of money laying around just to throw at one of these. It worked out that I sold my old planer and a few shop projects, so it worked out. And this is something I've been wanting to upgrade for a long time. So I felt the time was right, even though it's close to Christmas. And the number two reason I didn't think this would happen is because even after I did order it, had some shipping issues, and I don't want to go into a whole boring story of that, but I ordered it from a big box store. I don't want to name names on that one, but when you order larger items, they don't ship them UPS, FedEx, that kind of stuff. Generally, they go with a larger trucking company. That's what happened with this one. That particular trucking company has some pretty bad reputation reviews online, Better Business Bureau, and that kind of stuff. Anyway, not trying to drag anybody through the mud. More than anything, I just wanted you to, if you're not familiar with this, just like I am, I don't order a lot of large tools. Just check out the company they're going to send them with, do some reviews, and maybe reconsider that purchase, or even what I consider doing is having it shipped to the store. And I think that would have saved me some hassle in the long run. Ended up ordering this on October 18th and didn't receive it until November 2nd. So it's not a super long time, but after hearing the reviews, it kind of got me paranoid. And so just maybe remember that anytime you go to order a larger item like this. Okay, sorry for the long intro. I just wanted to throw that out there. I know a lot of people will get bored with that kind of stuff, but I just feel like that kind of stuff should be shared to the people, and hopefully I know there's at least a few of you out there that are going to run into that situation, be a little frustrated, and hopefully if you've seen this, you know, that'll help you along. But anyway, let's get right into unboxing this thing. And of course, as I've said many times, sorry about that, this is simply a product in a box. A lot of people like to watch unboxing those products, so we'll throw that out there. Oh, and one thing I wanted to get to too, I apologize. They did bring it this morning, and as you can see, there's a little bit of damage on the box here and up here. I don't know if you can see that too good with the camera, but I felt inside of here, and it doesn't appear like anything is too close to here. So I promise you're seeing this as I am. If there's damage, you're going to see it. If it's good, you'll see that too. So hopefully we don't have any more issues, because I don't want to go through that again. So let's get right to it. And I want to say I had the porter cable planer here, as some of you may have seen in my earlier videos, and it's served me well for a lot of years. But some things come up where I figured if I could sell a few projects from the shop, I could afford this. And that's another reason I thought I'd never see this, because this one was a little out of my budget. But it just so happened to work out, and that's why I'm so excited about this one. But the main reason I wanted to upgrade, the other one plain wood down and that kind of stuff, but snipe was a huge problem, and I know that's an issue with pretty much any planer you run into. But I had seen a lot of reviews where this particular planer, with the way it's set up, minimizes that snipe, and so that was kind of my big reason to want to purchase this one. And I can tell you, this one is a big boy. So you've seen the packing foam. There's the handle to raise up the planer head and that kind of stuff. and the instructions, of course. And this is the port for the back to where it blows out the dust chips. See, that's another thing I didn't have on the quarter cable one. There was no way to attach dust collection, which in my particular situation, I don't really use it for that. I know a lot of people would think that's crazy. The way I do it, I actually turn my planer cart outside my door and I just collect the chips there and I use it as mulch or whatever. So I don't really use that for dust collection. That would be my little tiny dust collector. They would fill up in no time. So if any of you guys are in the market for this one, and I know this is not a brand new tool on the market, it's been out for a lot of years, a lot of people has it, but there's probably a reason for that, because a lot of people swear by this planer, but I can tell you this thing, it is heavy. According to the packaging, it's 92 pounds. And I'm going to try to lean this over without damaging it or anything like that. Okay, we're almost there. And if I didn't say it earlier, this is the DeWalt DW735. And if you get confused about some of these and the part numbers, there's also a DW735X. And as far as I can tell, the only difference in those, the X comes with the wings that come out here and give you a little extra support. And I chose not to get those, not that I may not in the future. It's just this was literally all the money I had to set aside for now. So I can figure I can buy those wings later on. But I wanted to try it without them and possibly see if I could do something similar like I did on my old planer and have this in-feed piece that's made out of this, I can't remember what they call that stuff, melamine or whatever, and to see if we could get it to work that way. But we may end up behind the wings later on anyway. So let me get this raised up where I can get this cord out of here and we'll turn it back around. Okay, so before I go over any of the features here, I did show you earlier a little damage on the side of the box there. And after inspecting this thing pretty good, it does have a few scratches here and there, which I'm not super concerned about. And another piece, the chute back here for your dust collector does have a small crack that is all the way through. You can feel it on both sides. So if I were to use it with a dust collector, that may cause an issue as far as suction goes. But like I said, I shoot the chips outside the door here, so it's not such a big issue. I don't have a large dust collector anyway. That may be something you want to note if you order one of these and it does get shipped by a larger company. Anyway, let's get to the features. I added the wheel back on, and this, as you can tell, rolls it up and down, that kind of stuff. And the first thing will probably jump out to you is the gauge here. It tells you naturally it'll go up to 6 inches, 6 by 6, or technically a 6 by 13. The top up here comes with a little wrench. That's pretty much anything that's on here that you need to be servicing, planer blades, that kind of stuff. The end of it is a Torx head bit, and that'll fit all those Torx screws. And there are a few around here that it does not fit, but most of those, it's probably things you're not going to be trying to access. A couple of Phillips heads around the on and off switch, which hopefully you never have issues with that. And then also on this thing, if you can see the two shiny spots, that's a magnet. What that does, once you get to the changing your planer blades, take the bolts out, grab a hold of the planer blade with this magnetic so you're not trying to grab it with your hands. And now I'm kind of showing this video for people who do not have this. You know, I know since posting this on Facebook and other places, I've had so many comments of people saying they really want one as well, and that's kind of what I'm making this for. Maybe somebody that's interested in this planer or on the fence about it, they want to see some things. Maybe they've not seen any others on YouTube. And so if you are watching this video, I know there are lots of videos out there, and you're watching mine, I appreciate that. So the other features, naturally your on and off switch. There's your overload. If you happen to overload this thing, this little piece pops out. You reset it. Of course, it needs to cool off. The big 1 and 2 switch here, which I've had several people tell me, and I do see that on there, and it says only to turn that when it's running. And what that does is, I would almost say like roughing cuts versus finishing cuts. This one is 96 cuts per minute, or excuse me, per inch. This one is 179 cuts per inch, and naturally the number 1 is going to be slower, smoother finish, that kind of stuff. And I would imagine it's probably not as deep a cut. And then this piece in the center here, it's a depth gauge. What that does, no matter what height you've got it set at, it's going to tell you how much you're taking off the material you're passing through. So naturally, I don't recommend taking off large amounts at any one time, but there's a little gauge here that jumps up and down when you're putting that piece through there, and it shows you just how much you're taking off that board. And I guess the final feature I'm looking at today, I've actually, since posting this online too, had some people say that they bought this and wasn't sure what was up with this gauge here on the side. And what that does, you see all these numbers. That's probably hard to pick up on camera, but it says 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4, that kind of stuff. But basically what that is, no matter where you set that at, if you set it at 3/4 of an inch, this planer will not go below that. And the purpose of that is, you know, your stock is going to be consistent when it comes out. So if you set it 3/4 of an inch, you know, it may not be dead on, but every board you run through there is going to be consistently the same, versus, you know, you having one slightly higher than the other. If you got it set at that, there's a little rod up here that prevents this from going any lower, and it gives you a consistent cut. Okay, just for the first piece, this is not a project piece, at least not yet. I just grabbed a piece of cedar a friend of mine had gave me, which is where a lot of my wood comes from, and you can tell how rough it is. We're going to run that through there and just see how good a job this does. This is, like I said, a piece of cedar, and you'll probably notice about instantly I've not turned this on yet, but I've seen a few people that use this and say it's quite loud, and so hopefully that doesn't mess with the audio too much. But let's go ahead and get started. can see what a smooth finish that puts on there. It almost looks like two different types of wood once you clean the roughness off of it. Of course, in cedar, see all these little bug holes, and to me, that's one of the things that gives it a lot of character. And as I mentioned earlier, the main reason I wanted to get this particular planer is because a lot of people had talked about it minimizing snipe. Of course, I'm sure different types of wood may change, or the way you're feeding it in. And I can feel just maybe the tiniest little bit, but nothing even remotely like my lunchbox planer I had, because that one you could see quite the divot. And this one, probably if I hold it up, you're probably not even seeing that. And I'm sure you've seen hundreds of videos about what snipe is. Planer snipe, if you are not familiar with it, essentially there are two rollers inside of here, one in the front, one in the back. And they almost are on a swivel. And so when you put the front part in here, the front roller raises up. And naturally that's what's going to cause the snipe up front, because that roller is raised up until it gets to the back roller, and then it evens out, if that makes sense. And so all along through here, both rollers are pushing down, but when the front roller gets past this, it would naturally drop. And so that's going to give that blade not the proper height, I guess you'd say, and it's going to cause snipe. And like I said, that one's got a little, but very little at that. I am super excited about that, because snipe, I was one of the world's worst about not making my projects super extra long, and accounting for snipe, I would always leave it an inch or two, but in the back of my mind, I would never think about the snipe it was causing. And you've got on my lunchbox planer, it was at least 1.5 inches of a divot. And so naturally that's going to ruin your workpiece. And so you got to either think on the fly, and modify your measurements or something like that. Especially if you're like me, I kind of design on the fly. I don't really buy plans. But regardless, review-wise, I'm going to say this thing's a 10 out of 10 as of right now. Of course, long-term will tell different, but I know everybody on YouTube, a lot of them has this one, and I've used it for years and years and years, so I don't, foresee any issue. Okay, guys, we're pretty much at the end of this video, and I can't give you a full-fledged review, although right now, of course, I'm excited about it. I would say 2 thumbs up, 10 out of 10, that kind of stuff. But I want to get a little more use with it and that kind of stuff. It is powerful, I can tell you that. It is smooth, and like I said, at least right now, minimal snipe. Of course, this is not a super long board, just a couple feet maybe. But I ran it through off camera on the finishing cut, and I'll be honest, for the most part, that one you don't even have to sand it. It's so smooth. That would probably take finish just like it is. But yeah, we're going to call this the end of the video. Thank you for watching this, because like I said, there are lots of videos out there. A lot of people has this one. And so if you are watching it, I appreciate that. But anyway, on to the YouTube stuff. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we're getting up there in the subscribers close to our mark now, so I appreciate that. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you on the next video.